is XRP going to be relisted on exchanges? Holy cow. Man, it's moving fast and furious. My name is Coach JB. I am the top health and mindset coach in the world. What you believe in your heart, you think in your mind, will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. And the reality that you're living right now is just thoughts, actions, and behaviors since you were an adult. So the beautiful thing about that, warriors, is you can make a decision right now to change your life. Nobody's holding you back. It's not the circumstances you're in. It's the decisions you're making as an adult from this point forward to shape and mold your reality. What you're living right now is your thoughts, actions, and behaviors from 3 to 5 years ago. So if you want to change your life, let's stop complaining about it. Let's be about it. Let's make some different decisions, and let's get after it. So let's go through this, warriors. I'm very excited to share this with you guys. There's a lot of news coming up, and on April 30th, we have the Ripple and SEC coming back to battle again. This is getting very exciting, warriors. So I'm going to kind of take you all over the place, but I want to give you a different perspective. So I'm going to share with you that Ripple may be getting relisted on some exchanges out there. That's some exciting news. Or actually, there's a physical exchange relisting. That's a great sign that the confidence is coming back. We're going to talk about MasterCard, all these visas in crypto, and now MasterCard's getting on board. We're going to talk about Congress is taking next steps to take us closer to a digital world. And then I want to share with you guys a video that I watched on Robert Kiyosaki. This lady, I'm obsessed with her now. She is amazing in regards to the same type of life that I lived. She left the financial industry to pretty much go against the financial industry and show how fraudulent it is, and it's pretty powerful. So I'm going to show you a brief clip from that, and I can't explain it better than her. And then I'm going to share with you to go over to that video and watch the full interview. It will blow your mind. I would love to, let's all manifest and help me manifest getting her as an interview on our podcast and our YouTube channel. So Ripple counts another big win as Femex moves to relist XRP. Ripple and the XRP community can collaborate or celebrate a win today after Femex's decision to relist XRP, a move that follows vigorous #RelistXRP campaign. Warriors, get out there, #RelistXRP over and over and over again. We're supporting the community that supports us. This relisting could be the first of many as institutions gain confidence that Ripple might win the case brought against the SEC. Femex, one of a number of exchanges that delisted XRP after the SEC lawsuit against Ripple, has announced it's relisting XRP. Afraid of the repercussions that would result from the U.S. court ruling XRP as a security rather than a token, a majority of U.S.-based exchanges and a few abroad delisted XRP. The move led to XRP price plunging at the time, but prices have since recovered. Now, I want to talk about this from a personal perspective, and this is my perspective, right? Think about this, warriors. This is only happening in America. Think about all the bullshit happening in America right now. All these moves that are happening. Brian Brooks leaves the OCC, becomes the head of Binance. Think about that. Let's use our thinking mind, warriors. Jay Clayton, on December 18th, the company he consults for now increased their position in Ethereum and Bitcoin up to $600 million and said to increase up to $1 billion this year. 4 days later, he throws out an SEC lawsuit against Ripple, the third largest cryptocurrency, which FUDs it, knocks it down, pushes a bunch of people out of the marketplace, and then by December 28th, he decides to leave the SEC, and then all of a sudden it pops up that he's consulting for the company that increased their position in Bitcoin and Ethereum 2 days before. Warriors, know the game. Know the game, warriors. All these moves are being made. Gary Gensler, who is a MIT professor for cryptocurrency, literally now became the head of the SEC. Okay, so I want to show you this exciting news out here. I'm going to show you this video. 150,000 people waiting for the first crypto rewards card. Not in the crypto space, in the public space. A rewards card that you get paid back for using your fiat credit card in crypto. Check this out.
This is an absolutely fantastic product. So the way it works, we partnered with MasterCard. We'll be issuing this Gemini credit card a bit later this year. And what's great about it is that users are able to earn crypto on every swipe that they make. Every charge they make, they are able to earn crypto as a reward. So think instead of frequent flyer miles or hotel points, they're earning crypto.
So you pay in traditional credit, traditional money, but you earn crypto in return. Is that right?
Exactly. And what's great about it is it allows people who maybe are crypto curious, they've heard about the space, or maybe they're interested in the space, but they haven't yet invested. For those users, this is a great sort of way to passively get exposure to the space without changing their behavior. They continue to sort of use the card where they would automatically use it, and they're going to start earning Bitcoin or the other cryptos that we have on the platform.
Right. You can choose from any of 30 different cryptocurrencies available on Gemini. Talk to us about the interest. 140,000 people. I mean, what are you hearing from consumers and interested parties about what's attracting them to this?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we announced it earlier this year, we opened the wait list and we had, as you said, 140,000 people on the wait list to date, although my team tells me that since we announced our partnership with MasterCard today, we've had incredible interest just today. What's particularly exciting about the numbers that we're seeing is that more than half of the people on the wait list are not existing Gemini customers, which means they're new to the space, which is really what Gemini is all about. It's attracting more and more users to crypto and presenting sort of a safe, reliable.
Closure is coming, Warriors. I'll tell you what. When this SEC lawsuit gets dropped, it's going to be the biggest news in crypto history. You got Visa on board, the Visa CEO. I showed you guys the interview. He said, we may not be buying or putting our assets into Bitcoin or Ethereum or crypto, right? But we're getting in the crypto space, and you can now transact, or they want to move it across the Visa network, the #1 processor. Now MasterCard is allowing you to get paid back rewards using your fiat credit card in cryptocurrency. Warriors, man, this is getting exciting. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit of politics and Congress, right? So state of crypto. Congress takes one step closer to regulatory clarity. A bipartisan bill addressing cryptocurrency made it through the House of Representatives. Next is the Senate. The House passed the bill geared toward ultimately clarifying digital assets regulation in the U.S. If it becomes law, the industry might finally have the regulatory clarity it's been seeking. We're so close. The narrative. The U.S. House of Representatives passed H.R. 1602, they eliminate barriers of the Innovation Act of 2021. Last week, sent it to the Senate, which referred to the Senate Banking Committee. If passed, signed into law, the bipartisan bill would commission a working group to evaluate how U.S. currently treats digital assets. Why does this matter? This might be the first major crypto bill to get anywhere in Congress. What's more, it's one that, if passed, would have direct impact on how U.S. treats digital assets. This could finally prove companies in the industry with some much requested regulatory clarity. The fact the bill has support from both parties is another mark in favor. Of course, if regulatory agencies don't act until this bill is implemented, it's quite some time before the actual clarity is adopted. Do you see the connections here, Warriors? An SEC lawsuit, Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC, cryptocurrency professor for blockchain technology and policy, okay? And now you got it's all simultaneously coming together. We see the Wizard of Oz now. We're starting to see behind the curtain a little bit, but we'll never know everything, right? So now let me share with you guys a little story. So I come from a banking background, and I shared this on one of my YouTubes, and I wanted to make sure it was on video. And I shared something that happened to me while I was in the banking system. I got to experience, I call it the dark side of banking. That's why I left banking. It didn't feel comfortable to me. Our bank had gone through a big scandal. A lot of banks went through that during that time. Really interesting. And I saw some very weird stuff, and personally some stuff happened to me, fake news basically. And that's when my whole paradigm shift. I was like, you know what? This is complete bullshit. I mean, this is a really, really weird system. If we were doing what the banks are doing, we would be in jail. That's a fact. I'm surprised my YouTube videos even continue to go, because that's a fact, Warriors. And I just did a TikTok video yesterday that got banned for community guidelines when I was just sharing information. Why? Why would that get banned for community guidelines? You have to start to think about this, Warriors. Why would they decline your debit card for buying crypto? Think about that when they're actually invested in crypto. It's hard to start opening up our minds, and I want you to listen to this lady. She's phenomenal. I'm gonna read her book actually. It's Nomi Prins. It's Nomi Prins. And I really resonated with her because she came from the financial sector and she realized how fraudulent it was. And now she actually speaks and educates people on how fraudulent the system is and writes books on it. And her acumen is unbelievable. She was in Wall Street. But I want you to listen to this part. I would ask you and encourage you to go to Rich Dad Poor Dad channel, one of my favorite channels, and actually watch this full video.
Central banks and banking systems around the world is it's easiest and quickest for that money to find a host in financial assets. That includes the stock market, that includes the bond market, that includes certain areas of real estate. But the stock market is almost the fastest place for it to replicate itself, for it to basically create returns on itself. And so if banks have a whole ton of extra money, and now it's at 0% interest again, plus they're getting extra money in return for bonds that they don't want any.
Let's pause for just a moment. Let me share with you the narrative. So she's talking about PPP loans, okay? So the PPP loans were to save your businesses, right? Do you realize that your banks and bankers made commission off those PPP loans? Those PPP loans were given to the bank to help businesses survive, and they made a cut off of that. What the F is that? Think about that rationally. It's money to help the people, but you know what, banks, go ahead and make your commission. We'll make our cut. Let's just give you some free money. Let's multiply the money. And what she's basically talking about is, basically she's talking about the stock market and how they take this money and then they pump it into the stock market, the Cantillon effect. The actually stimulus comes, it goes to the richest people in the world, they invest it. That's why the stock market is overinflated. They look up the Warren Buffett indicator. It's impossible mathematically for our GDP to be where it's at. We're negative GDP. If we walked into a car dealership as America, we couldn't even buy a car. Think about that. Okay, our negative GDP. We have money pumping into the system nonstop. We're in a debt-based society. Jerome Powell announced yesterday, this goes right in line with what she's saying, that we're going to keep interest rates at 0 to 1.25 at the Fed. Okay, so that's cheap money. And he said we're going to pump up inflation in the next 3 months. Has your gas gone up? Absolutely. Has your lumber prices gone up? It's doubled, and some people say it's tripled. Your housing prices are going up, right? And then you've got low interest rate environment. They're pumping you with stimulus. They're going to wipe out the middle class, and the banking system always wins. They got bailed out in 2008, and they just keep doing the same things over and over again. They're scared because we can become our own banking system now.
Anyway, that they have sitting around their books. They can also lend that money to hedge funds, and they can lend that money to private equity funds, or funds that basically take very cheap money from wherever they can get it, and also get involved in multiplying that money virus effect. And so if they also get behind investing in or speculating in the stock market, there's all this extra money coming in that the sheer force of its presence, just by being there, has this effect of lifting the markets. Now, in the real economy, it doesn't work that way. If your restaurant was closed, if you could not afford to pay the rent and your landlord after whatever,
Word, what she just said, in the real economy, I'm teaching you real economics. What we're dealing with and what you've been taught is fantasy economics. You're in a system where you're just over broke. You clock in. You should never work for money. Money should always work for you. That's what they're doing. That's what we're doing. That's what the uncommon 1% are doing. I used to work for money. I'd have to clock in and clock out. They keep you in a system as this money is coming in where they're just taking fake air money and multiplying it, getting rich off of it.
Potential forgiveness or temporary halting of payments that they provided is still not able to, say, reduce their costs enough to reduce the rent for a restaurant or a bar owner, or they simply don't have enough customers, or they simply can't afford a wait staff. All these extra people can't just snap back that way. They're not lifted by this force beneath them of that sort of money.
Right. And one of the things that drives me absolutely just makes me mad is you see that banks, this year was their best year ever, highest profits ever. And all of these people are struggling and can't survive. So we got to take a break. But when we come back, Nomi, I highly
recommend you go watch that video. I'm going to obsess over her stuff. It's because I had the same, so I was in the retail banking area. She was in the Wall Street type area, and she literally just blows the lid off of it, right? And I'll tell you what, Warriors, I got exposure to the banking system for 12 years. And I got exposure at first. I was bought into the system. I've had people call me out and say, oh, you were in the system. You were a company man, you know, and you know who you are. You called me out and said, you were the company man. Of course I was. I bought into the system. I was a young little boy who didn't know how to freaking stand up for myself. And I listened and I did what everything else did. And I finally grew the fuck up. Straight up. And I said, I'm not going to listen to what anybody says. I'm going to do what's right and listen to my sacral. And I got there through clearing my gut, clearing my mind, stop listening to what people have done generation after generation and saying that's how it's always been. When I ask questions, I said, no, I'm going to start questioning everything. Because when someone says to you that's how it's always been, it doesn't mean it has to be that way. If that's how it's always been and it doesn't feel right to you, then you need to change it, Warriors. You need to have the Christ consciousness enough to stand up for yourself and do what's right. And that's what I did in my own paradigm. I left and I started my own business to teach warriors all over the world how to raise into freedom. I don't give a shit if you get into cryptocurrency. What I care about is that you rise up into that Christ consciousness and you find that freedom and you stop working in a slave type system where you're broke all the time, where you have to use your credit card to buy Christmas presents when Christmas doesn't even represent freaking presents. It's presents, chrism, Christ, presents. We should be sitting together and praying and lifting each other up. That's the presence. Be in my presence on Christmas, but you're trapped into a system and then you pay off that, and then you do it again. So it's about breaking free from that system, Warriors. That's what this is all about. And that's why banks, Jamie Dimon said it himself, let me quote him, banks are scared shitless of fintech. So if my cuss words offend you, I'm probably not the guy to follow. If you're someone who doesn't like someone who believes in God and follows the life of Jesus, is non-religious and accepts everybody, even if you don't believe in God, I accept you. I will still hug you and love you. Probably won't be the best of friends, but I will still love you. What I'm here to do is leave a dent in the universe, Warriors. That's what I'm here to do. And I'm going to die a legend helping as many people as possible create free dome. Okay? I'm looking for the uncommon 1%. So down below, we have a Warrior Academy. We have about 1,400 warriors worldwide, 15 different countries that work together in the quantum financial system to understand and know it. Not a perfect academy, but what I am is I'm a great leader. And I know my iniquities. And what I do is I surround myself with people that are way better than me at the things that I'm weak at. And that's what makes us powerful beyond measure. We work together in the crypto space. We work out together. We have nutrition, workouts, mindsets, subconscious mind programming, and we do this worldwide in an online system. We have a community that's second to none. We support each other, we help each other, and we're not a perfect academy, but what we do is we take feedback and we grow from that. So if you want to be part of a crypto community, whether you're new to investing or you're an investing expert, you can come in and add some value to our community. We can rise together to help as many people as possible create freedom. Click the link down below, and then don't forget, we're actually doing our meet and greet. I was about to say December, July 17th, Circa Hotel, Las Vegas, Nevada. And I do want to address something. Somebody said to me in the comments, they said, Vegas does not match your brand. I'm like, what is a brand? What does that mean? Where I am is the environment. Whatever environment is, I create it. So if I'm at a pool in Vegas, I am the environment. It's my actions and behaviors within that current reality that makes it good or bad. It's not Sin City. It's not Sin City if I don't sin in Sin City. It could be heaven on earth. It really comes from the inside out. Vegas doesn't make me sin. You make yourself sin. Warriors, rise! Let's go.